this content is for kids.
It's not for kids.
Isn't that what I said?
No, it's not for kids. If you are 13 years or younger, this is not for you. Do I have to kill somebody in order to actually make that point across?
No, man, you don't have to kill
Wait
no one.
a second.
No.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture.
He likes movies, we like movies. Septum Sin versus the world. 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 I'd buy that for $1.
Well, welcome, faithful viewers, as we embark upon another journey into the entertainment zone. A zone purely of sound, devoid of sight, unless you like to stare at the picture we put up for an hour. Because we are enveloping you within the Vlogcast zone.
Right. And this being an episode largely devoted to the Golden Globes, there will be copious amounts of beverage perhaps consumed, but you won't know because you won't see.
I've got a giant beverage holder right just here. What's in it? You never know. Could be water. Probably is water. But vodka's the same color as water,
Yes.
so it could be.
And it is Russian for water. Little water.
So a couple things, a couple of items that need to be taken care of before we dive into the Globes.
Sure.
The first of which is, of course, site news. We have debuted one particular segment that is going to be ongoing for the next 23 weeks. Which is the Anhedenia Project.
Ooh.
This is one that I've talked about before a little bit, and this covers the Anhedenia films by Evan Jacobs, who gave me the link to see all of his films, and I did, with the exception of two, Death Toilet and Death Toilet number 2. But I've got those on physical media, so there'll be separate reviews probably before this reaches its end. So I've done a lot of viewing, I did a lot of recording, and I even recorded its own embarrassing intro. So you should check it out. Every Thursday, they usually run between 2 minutes and 10 minutes, depending on what's covered at the time. This week is going to be the second week, as a matter of fact, as this. Another series that kicked off this week is one where I called it a stroll. And there's going to be multiple strolls that are going through my media collection. So I'm going to take a deeper dive into my media collection, pulling 10 items off the shelf. Every time that I do a video, it's going to be less consistent, but if I get the time, I will record one. And I'm going to do it in sections. As you know, my collection's in sections: Criterion, TV, anime, and movies. So there's going to be, out of the scene items, the ones that I feel are officially in my collection, those are the ones I'm pulling from, and it's going to be 10 per. Which, the first one was Criterion. A Criterion stroll, and unfortunately the first couple hit a couple of multi-packs in there, like America, what was that thing, America Lost and Found.
Right.
That had a lot of films in it, and then there was that silent film trilogy, and there's just a couple there, but it also had Armageddon in it. So I show them off and read off what the special features are, and we take a look at it. So just something kind of interesting to celebrate this channel in physical media. I don't know if you have anything new coming up for the channel on your end.
Well, a lot of it depends on how quickly I get that software installed and everything like that. But as we mentioned previously, I do plan to start doing a little bit more on my own. and we'll see how that goes.
Well, we're going to start with at the movies, because you have a bunch of movies, and
Okay.
then after that we're going to dive into the Globes, and if we have any time left over, we're just going to forego the ongoing and just hit into the already seen.
Oh, believe me, I have plenty of those.
So I figure that we both have plenty of the already scenes.
Right.
So really and truly, do we need to take time for the ongoing at this point?
Not this time, no.
So go ahead.
Okay.
I'm going to be putting stuff away.
So, at the movies, it seems like a good precursor to the Golden Globes, and also next week, I think, is when we get our Oscar nominations announced. For some reason, there's an ungodly early Oscars this year. Bastards. But anyway, I managed, believe it or not, in the last couple weeks, starting a couple days after Christmas and going up through this afternoon, I have been to the movies to see 6 of the potential contenders.
Lucky bastard.
Yes, and I'm going to just talk about them in order. I'm going to try to be brief. The first one is the movie that I was going to show my not youngest, but younger brother is a Star Wars fanboy. I am not, but he is. So I had resolved that for Christmas I would make sure he got to go see Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. I ended up getting him a gift card to Regal, and then we just decided on time to go. So the first one was Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. I am going to avoid spoilers because I know no one wants to have Star Wars spoiled for them.
And you don't want to die.
And I don't want to die, but I probably will anyway, because some of the things I have to say will be blasphemous to some of you people. In the broad strokes, it's a very good, very fun movie, well made, an okay end to the Skywalker saga. The unfortunate and untimely passing of Carrie Fisher did give them a ginormous Death Star-sized lemon that they had to make lemonade out of. I give J.J. Abrams props for the idea of using B-roll footage and for the way he used B-roll footage, but it's distracting and off-putting and threw me out of much of the film, unfortunately. I don't know what they could have done better. It's one of those things. But then what they could have done better is not pretend that The Last Jedi didn't happen. They tried very hard to rewrite that entire film. Oh, that was annoying. My brother liked the film. I liked it, but I don't like it as much as he does. I think it's a weak end to the saga. But it is a contender for visual effects and for sound, and if it gets those nominations, more power to it. Please, God, though, don't give John Williams another score nomination for the same movie he's been nominated for since '77.
That movie brought him bank.
Ah, jeez. Okay, so anyway, next up, I went to see Greta Gerwig's adaptation of Louisa May Alcott's Little Women. I loved Lady Bird, and so I was immediately on board to see what else Gerwig wanted to direct. The fact that she reteams with Lady Bird star Saoirse Ronan and 2 of her supporting cast, Timothée Chalamet and Tracy Letts, and then brought on board Florence Pugh, Emma Watson, Laura Dern, Meryl Streep, Chris Cooper. I mean, it's a no-brainer. I had to see the film. No question. Actually, we ended up going with my mom to see that because she really wanted to see it. And it's a really good film. It's a really nice adaptation. They played with the chronology a lot. They chopped up the chronology and went back and forth, which is very different from the 94 version that most people know.
Yeah.
I never have read the book either. I need to. But
English.
I know I'm a bad English major, I know. But it's a well-made film. It's gorgeous. The acting is phenomenal. A lot has been made of Florence Pugh, saying this is going to be her breakout role. She has had some good roles, but this one really was a solid role. Emma Watson was solid. Chris Cooper was solid. Meryl Streep is guaranteed another Oscar nomination. And Saoirse Ronan, who's going to be the future Meryl Streep, is guaranteed a nomination for this film. It's a good one. Then I went to see Knives Out, the new one from Rian Johnson, which unfortunately has suffered tons of hate from Star Wars fanboys who are blaming him for Last Jedi and calling his new film crap without seeing it.
Like
Knives...
Jedi.
Huh?
Like they did Last Jedi.
Yeah, jeez. Knives Out is flippin' awesome. It's a whodunit. And it's a really weird whodunit. And the minor disappointment I had was that it did not go the way I thought it was going to. And some of the cast is underused, particularly Jamie Lee Curtis, Don Johnson, and Michael Shannon as the bickering siblings and siblings-in-law, and Toni Collette as the bickering siblings and siblings-in-all of the family patriarch who is the decedent, Christopher Plummer. Plummer is brilliant, as usual. But the film really belongs to two people. Daniel Craig as a flamboyant Southern fried detective. And he actually, at one point, one of the characters flippantly calls him KFC CIA, I think was what he called him. And incidentally, I think that character was the one played by Chris Evans. Chris Evans goes as anti-Captain America as you can get, and he does a great job with it. But Craig and Ana de Armas, who plays the family maid Marta, were really more of a nurse/companion for Christopher Plummer's character, but she kind of is the maid as well. Everyone loves her. You know, Colette's daughter is about her age, and they're good friends. She gets embroiled in the death in a way she never would have expected. I'm not going to say much more, because this is a film where whodunit, you got to go in there not knowing much. Just the acting is phenomenal. De Armas should be up for Best Actress. Craig has gotten a lot of buzz for actor, but I don't think he's quite there. Plummer could be a good long shot for supporting actor, and the film needs to get a screenplay nod and probably some others. I like I said, I loved it. And then I went to see two very, 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 very different films back to back. You'd said you thought it was The Bird because I was talking about a twofer.
Yeah.
I ended up actually watching them in the same theater, and I almost was in the same seat. So it was a double bill. The first one was A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which, of course, is not really a Fred Rogers biopic like we all thought it was going to be, but it was rather loosely based on an article called Can You Say Hero, I think is what it was called. I can't remember the author's name. The Lloyd Vogel is the character name in the movie, and he's played by Matthew Rhys of The Americans, which is a show I need to see. He does a great, great job. His father, once again, Chris Cooper. Cooper does a great job. I had no idea I was going to see a second Chris Cooper movie, which is awesome. But of course, the star of the show is Tom Hanks as Fred Rogers. He's technically the supporting star. He does get a lot of screen time, so you could make a case either way, but he's being touted as supporting. Tom Hanks is a, it's one of those born things. Like people said that Morgan Freeman was born to play Nelson Mandela, sort of thing. And apparently when the film premiered, Tom Hanks had just learned that he was distantly related to Fred Rogers. That's like, yeah, okay, that's timely and interesting. Directed by Marielle Heller, the one who did Can You Ever Forgive Me, which was another great film. Tom Hanks needs to get an Oscar nod. I don't know why he has not been their friend lately, but he needs to get a nod for this. I doubt he'll win, but he should. I think probably should. And then I followed that up with the film that really should have come first, because A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is like an antidote. It's a feel-good film. I had a big goofy grin on my face half the time I was watching the film. I did with Knives Out, too, but for different reasons. And I should say as well, Knives Out has one of the best end credit sequences I've ever seen. I loved it. Great end credit sequence. But one cool thing about Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, you know how they do the thing where they have the models and the camera would zoom in on the house, and you know, and every time Mr. Rogers went somewhere they would do that. They did that in the movie.
Oh.
And it's a great way to, and they film it in the same camera stock, so it really looks like the show in a way, and they start and end with the show. It is framed as an episode of the show, really, which is a really creative and fun way to do it, actually. The other one I followed that with was Bombshell, Jay Roach's if you will, expose about the goings-on at Fox News, specifically Roger Ailes, and the sexual assault lawsuit that brought him down, and kind of ended up catching Bill O'Reilly in its wake, if I remember. I can't remember which one went first, but the film focuses on Ailes, with O'Reilly playing a small role. But
Ailes was the big one.
Ailes was the big one. And Ailes in the film is played by John Lithgow, and he is unrecognizable. They had the makeup guy from The Darkest Hour. Lithgow is unrecognizable, and he does a great job. I cannot believe he is not in the Oscar conversation for supporting actor, because he really did a phenomenal job. Charlize Theron is almost unrecognizable as Megyn Kelly, and she also is probably going to get a nomination. And then you had Nicole Kidman as Gretchen Carlson. Does a good job, a really good job, and Margot Robbie does a great job as Kaylee. I can't remember her last name. She's a fictional composite of several characters, but she does do a brilliant job. And it's also worth noting that of all people, SNL's Kate McKinnon has a key supporting role that's purely dramatic, and she nails it. She is, I've long said, she has a future in dramatic acting. She does. She's great in the film. The film will be problematic, much like the Star Wars series. There will be people that will hate on Bombshell without having any clue what it really is, just because of the topic matter. I have seen several people accuse it of being a hit piece on Fox News. No, it's not. If anything, it could be seen as a hit piece on Roger Ailes, but come on, the dude, he don't deserve no protecting. And I'm not going to go too far into it's hard to talk about this film without talking politics. I can say I do not personally have much love at all for Megyn Kelly. I respect the way the film presented her. She is not a caricature. She is a full-fledged, rounded human being in the film. Charlize Theron nails making her a sympathetic character, which, if you know much about her, that's not an easy thing to do. I'm going to leave it at that. I will also mention that one other potential landmine they sidestepped. They do not have anyone portraying Donald Trump. They only have a few scenes where they let him speak for himself. Which I have to say is a fair way of going about it. So, anyway, you will probably know on your own if you'll ever want to watch the film. I recommend it. But anyway, and the last one I saw is probably one of the least controversial ones, which is kind of weird because it's pretty uncomfortable. But it seems to be the one film everybody loves. And the only reason it's not a lock for a Best Picture nomination, multiple acting nominations, several wins, the only reason it's not a lock is because Americans don't like to read their movies and it's subtitled. I went to see Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, the South Korean film that is guaranteed to win foreign language feature from what I understand. And is probably going to get multiple nominations, including a screenplay nod, might get a director nod from the buzz that's going on, should get Best Picture and multiple acting nods, should be in the discussion for the music because they had great music, great production design, everything was top notch, but it's a Korean film. People just don't, But this is one thing I don't get. This, apparently, when it gets its inevitable international feature nod, because that's what they're calling it now, it'll be the first South Korean film ever to do so. That's pretty sad. There's been some great Korean cinema. There has been some great Korean cinema. And, of course, if it gets a Best Picture nod, it'll be the first one in that category. But now I really have to see Snowpiercer. That was from the same director. It's supposed to be good.
Wait, Snowpiercer, that's the one with the train, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
That's not a foreign language film.
Well, it's the same director.
Oh.
Yeah. But, yeah, and he did one, I think, last year called Okja that was supposed to be really, really, really good. So this dude is definitely, he's poised to hit it big internationally, if he hadn't already with this one. But Parasite is awesome. It lives up to the hype. It is even better than Knives Out, and I love Knives Out. So, yeah. So that's my take on the ones I saw in theaters.
Actually, I've seen Snowpiercer, so...
Oh! Well, there you go.
I was like, wait, that's not a foreign... That's not like a foreign language.
It does have some Korean actors in it. Yeah.
So, we're going to go on to the Globes. So we'll do this as we normally do with the Oscars. We'll take turns. I'll start us off. Mention the nominees, then naming the winner, and, of course, any comments, which will get shorter and shorter as we go by and as we run out of time.
And especially as we get into the television, because there's less and less to say there.
So, I'm going to start us off with Best Motion Picture Drama. The nominees were 1917, The Irishman, Joker, Marriage Story, and The Two Popes.
Barrel of laughs, that group.
Well, it's drama. So the winner, of course, being 1917. Now, you've seen at least one of those.
Yeah.
And you had the opportunity, I'm sure, to see The Irishman.
Well, I don't have Netflix, but if I get it back, I have the opportunity to see 3 of those movies, because Netflix has 3 of those movies.
And 1917 is the one I think that's not on there, which is the one that won.
Right.
And you haven't seen that one, right?
I intend to go see it. It's actually in limited release right now. I think it goes wide this weekend.
I think this year is going to probably be one of those years where I've seen like 3 films for the Oscars by the time we get to the second.
Hey, you have Netflix. You can watch all 3 of those.
Yeah, but time is also of the essence.
Well, especially for The Irishman.
And I've got a
freaking
student
4-hour movie
supervising these next couple of weeks.
So, next up is a category where I have seen 2 of the nominees. The aforementioned Knives Out is up against Jojo Rabbit, Dolomite Is My Name, Rocket Man, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And the winner was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Rocket Man was a great film. It was a wonderful concept. Doing a biopic as a musical was really cool. Taron Egerton was phenomenal, but the movie was not top tier material. Like I said, a freaking love Knives Out, and I really want to see the other three. But
yeah, I want to see all of these, and I haven't seen a single one.
Well, Dolomite Is My Name is also on Netflix.
I'm surprised you haven't. Didn't you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
No, but I'm waiting for it from the library. But I tell you, if I don't get that before the Oscars, I'm going to just buy it. Jojo Rabbit, I'm still hoping I can go see it, but I'm not holding my breath at this point.
If I want to pay $20, I can watch it on Amazon, but I just don't.
20?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're really new, they charge high.
That's freaking stupid. Heh.
So let's see. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture.
I've seen 3 of
drama.
these.
Renee Zellweger for Judy. We talked about that not long ago, being released on physical media.
Yep.
Charlize Theron for Bombshell. Cynthia Erivo for Harriet. Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story. And Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. And of course, the winner was Renee Zellweger for Judy.
Of course, the one I'm least likely to see before the Oscars is the one that won.
But and I'm sure many of these did really good jobs, and you've seen a good number
Well, that's like I
of
said. I've
these,
seen
so-
3. Circe was phenomenal. She always is. Charlize was phenomenal. Cynthia Erivo was pretty kick-ass. I mean, all of them deserve nominations.
And I know you love Scarlett Johansson.
I do, and she is way overdue for Oscar love, and supposedly this is like her best performance. So I want to see this. That's also on Netflix.
So next up, best performance by an actor. Oh, wait,
That's
no,
my
it's your
go.
turn, yeah.
Best performance by an actor in a motion picture drama. We have Jonathan Pryce from The Two Popes, Adam Driver from Marriage Story, Antonio Banderas from Pain and Glory, Christian Bale from Ford v Ferrari, and Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. And of course, the winner was Joaquin Phoenix for Joker.
Who would have guessed?
He is great in that film. There's no two ways about it. He is great in the film. I have not yet seen any of the others here. I did see both Driver and Price in The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, and they both were phenomenal in that movie. Driver also was great in The Dead Don't Die and Rise of Skywalker. So he's had a solid year. And then, of course, Antonio Banderas. This is for the new film from Pedro Almodovar. I want to see Pain and Glory, but I don't know when I'll get to. But supposedly it's Almodovar's answer to Roma and 8.5. So you'd probably either love it or hate it.
I wanna love the Joker performance. I will see it before the Oscars. That I'm certain of, because I will have access to it before then. But there's a part of me that all of the people who you're talking about, who hated The Last Jedi but without watching it, and hated Knives Out without watching it, all of those people look at this movie and say, this is a good movie, why do you guys all suck? And I want to hate the movie just because those people love this film. And it's just, I don't know, it's a film that speaks to those people a lot.
It is
they love it.
It's a difficult film to watch, no question about it. But
all right,
okay.
Best performance by actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. All right, Awkwafina for The Farewell. Is that really how they? Is that how?
That's how she spells it. Yes.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, Ana de Armas for Knives Out. Kate Blanchett for Where'd You Go, Bernadette. Beanie, I almost said Murray. Beanie
She looks like a
Fieldstein, Booksmart, and Emma Thompson for Late Night. So the winner was Awkwafina for The Farewell.
Like I said, Ana de Armas was so awesome in Knives Out. She should probably have won.
I really want to see that.
Awkwafina, I have heard a lot about The Farewell. It's supposed to be great. I'm pulling for her, if only so that she can be the first. I think she's supposedly going to be the first Asian American ever nominated for Best Actress if she gets the nomination. So I'm pulling for that. But I loved Ana de Armas. And the others, Emma Thompson's awesome. Beanie Feldstein, I think, is Jonah Hill's sister. And Booksmart was the movie directed by Olivia Wilde, and I really want to see that. And yeah, Blanchett's always awesome. But so we got best actor by performance, best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. We have Eddie Murphy in Dolomite Is My Name, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Roman Griffin Davis for Jojo Rabbit, Daniel Craig for Knives Out, and Taron Egerton for Rocketman. And in a move that surprised a lot of people, Taron Egerton won for playing Elton John in Rocketman.
I'm not surprised.
He does a great job. And it's not just getting the mannerisms and looking the part. He sings the part. He does a credible imitation of Elton John as a singer.
Elton John handpicked this dude for the part.
Yes.
So yeah, this guy was meant to play Elton John.
Yes.
So I don't doubt it. And especially if you think about the winner of Best Actor, Rami Malek, last year. I mean, it could go along those same lines this year.
Well, and also Dexter Fletcher, the director of this film, was the one who finished Bohemian Rhapsody.
I don't think he's gonna beat Joaquin Phoenix though.
Right. No, yeah, here we go.
Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in any motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
Laura Dern, Marriage Story. Annette Bening, The Report. Jennifer Lopez in Hustlers. Margot Robbie in Bombshell. And Kathy Bates in Richard Jewell.
Pretty solid lineup there.
Winner is, of course, Laura Dern.
Yeah. She's had so many to choose from this year. Little Women, Marriage Story, and there was another big one, but she's gotten a ton of buzz for this one. And I think she's already picked up a ton of awards for it.
You know, this actually speaks to how many films I'm going to have seen by the time Oscar gets up. Because you know how many I've seen so far?
I will be seeing Hustlers this week.
You've seen a lot of these, actually.
Right? Actually, of these, I've only seen Bombshell out of these. But like I said, I will be getting Hustlers from the library this week or next. So, best performance by an actor in a supporting role in any motion picture. Joe Pesci for The Irishman. Al Pacino for The Irishman. Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes. Tom Hanks for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. And Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And here we have an interesting thing where all the nominees, from what I understand, are major parts of the films they're in. Apparently Brad Pitt could be a co-lead. Tom Hanks almost could have been a co-lead. I think Anthony Hopkins apparently could have been a co-lead. But they're being positioned for supporting. Hanks was phenomenal in Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. I have not seen the others here yet, but I want to. And I might be able to see them all before Oscar, but yeah, that is a solid group, though.
So far, 0 seen and counting. I am going to have seen at least one of these by the time we get through this.
I did say Brad Pitt won, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Alright, now, Best Director Motion Picture.
Ooh,
Todd
I've seen
Phillips,
2 of these.
Joker. Martin Scorsese, The Irishman. Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Sam Mendes for 1917. Of course you're going to get Sam Mendes for 1917.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
I have a feeling this one's going to be a big winner this year, and I haven't even seen the darn thing. It's got a lot of hype around it.
I think at this point I would not count out Scorsese or Tarantino. And there is a chance that the Academy would go, Todd Phillips, that's a Hangover guy. Let's give it to Almodovar, or Terrence Malick. But Bong Joon-ho is positioned to actually make history in this category. And he did a great job.
Well, you should see, like I say, the same group of people. I see what they post a lot of the times because I'm in some of the groups that some of them are in. And they were making a big deal about The Irishman not getting any love and Joker getting a lot of love and saying, see, Joker is a superior film to anything you can put out. And
but if you're going to put Scorsese against the Hangover guy, I don't know. But anyway, best screenplay, motion picture. We have Anthony McCartan for The Two Popes, Bong Joon-ho and Han Jin-won for Parasite, Noah Baumbach for Marriage Story, Steven Zaillian for The Irishman, and Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And the Globe went to Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, of course.
Here's one of the weird ones, too. Noah Baumbach didn't get a freaking director nod, even though his fingerprints are all over every movie he ever does. His only previous Oscar nod, I think, was a screenplay nod.
Well, look at what happened with, was it Get Out? Yeah, I mean, we had a screenplay nod, but did not have the director nod.
That's right. Well, that was less surprising.
But his fingerprint is all over his films as well.
But you got to admit that's less surprising.
Yeah.
Baumbach surprises me because he's like a more serious Wes Anderson.
Well, like I said, it's less surprising to me only in the fact that the Oscars are kind of a racist organization anyway.
But still, it is cool to see the Korean screenplay get in there.
It is. All right, so
the category was some bullshit.
Alright, so Best Motion Picture Animated. Missing Link. Surprising that it was on there. Frozen 2. Not surprised that it's on there. How to Train Your Dragon. The Hidden World. First film on this entire list I have seen.
Huh.
Not surprised it's on there. The Lion King.
Bullshit.
The live-action Lion King, which I have not seen. And, of course, the second film that I have seen in this entire list, Toy Story 4. Which was the one I would figure to win. But no, it went to one I would never have predicted, Missing Link.
Now I have to check that one out.
Which I own, so I will be checking that out. And, I mean, it's a Leica production.
Right.
That's the reason why I got it when it was on sale, very cheap on Black Friday.
Right.
And, you know, I know it's like, you know, like you see these and you're going... it doesn't look like something's going to interest me, but the studio produces good stuff. So there's something to it.
Right.
Who knows? Maybe it'll win. I mean, that's kind of just weird.
That was cool that it did win because it was so unexpected. But again...
especially against Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2.
But again, given, let's see, Lego Movie 2, the second part, given Weathering with You, and Promare, and I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, and all these films, how in the bleeding hell did a movie that's been marketed as a live-action film get an animated picture nod? I know it fits the technical definition, but it's been marketed as live action.
It needs to stay home.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's my rant for that one. Best Motion Picture Foreign Language.
No surprise.
Nominees: Pain and Glory from Spain, Les Miserables from France, Farewell from the USA, Portrait of a Lady on Fire from France, and Parasite from South Korea. No surprise, Parasite won. It bleeding deserved it. It's a great film. It is awesome. From what I've heard, The Farewell is awesome, and unfortunately ineligible at the Oscars because it's from the USA. Even though it's a Mandarin language film, they need to work on those rules. I think Pain and Glory is considered a strong second tier for the category, and it could win. Yeah. Not likely, but it could. But I found it interesting. I don't know which of these is the French nominee. Is it Les Miserables?
Les Miserables.
Yeah.
Well, they're both French.
No, with the Oscars. Because they can only submit one, which I still say is bullshit that the Oscars only allow one per country. That's...
Oh, which one of these two will make it to the Oscars? Yeah. I was going to say... Well, yeah.
But Parasite's
going to win. Yeah. So, all right. Best original score / motion picture.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We've got Alexandre Desplat for Little Women, Randy Newman for Marriage Story, Hildur Gudnadottir for Joker, Thomas Newman for 1917, and Daniel Pemberton for Motherless Brooklyn.
I've seen two of those.
So the winner, of course, was I said her name once for Joker. So
Adele Dazeem.
But yeah, I mean, not surprising, I guess.
Yeah.
Though, actually, I am surprised that Alexandra Desplat actually and Randy Newman. These are like big names.
They are big names. Now, I have seen Joker and Little Women, and both of them have solid music. I don't really think that Joker... I didn't really remember Joker all that well. Little Women I remembered. Yeah. So we have original song motion picture, and what a category here. So, by Joshua Brian Campbell and Cynthia Erivo, performed by Cynthia Erivo, we have Stand Up from Harriet, by Timothy McKenzie, Ilya Samanzadeh, and Beyonce Knowles, performed by Beyonce. We have Spirit from The Lion King, written by Kristen Anderson Lopez and Robert Lopez, and I believe sung by Idina Menzel, I don't remember. Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, written by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Taylor Swift, performed, I believe, by Taylor Swift. Beautiful Ghosts from everyone's favorite movie of the year, Cats.
Gosh, just to think, if that won the Oscar, that I would be content to get Cats.
And Elton John and Bernie Taupin, performed by Elton John, or maybe by, is it Elton John or... I don't remember who performed it.
I think it was a guy actually.
Taron Egerton, maybe. But I'm Going to Love Me Again from Rocket Man. And the Oscar went to I'm Going to Love Me Again from Rocket Man. So gives it a little bit of a boost going into the Oscars. I think all of these, are actually on the Oscar shortlist.
Yeah.
So anyone could show up. I'm pulling for the kick-ass song from Toni Morrison, "The Pieces I Am," but I only know I'm going to love. Well, I've seen 3 of these: Rocket Man, Lion King, and Harriet. And the one from Harriet is the best of the 3 in my book. But yeah,
to me, I think out of all the categories that Lion King could win, this one is the one I think that it would, because the Oscars do like Beyonce.
They love Beyonce. And they also like Elton John,
do.
He hates this movie apparently.
And but he does like Rocket Man.
Elton John is on the short list for a song from Rocket Man and one from Lion King, and he has thrown his full support behind Rocket Man.
So you know, my hope is that Rocket Man does get it, or even Harriet.
Yeah.
Cats, that is a powerful song. I have heard it. And it is a powerful song. The Frozen song is much like many of the Frozen songs. I've actually heard the majority of these songs.
Part of me wants to see Cats get it, just to hear the stream of obscenities that will come from your wife while we're doing the show.
The Frozen songs, from what I've heard, and from what I've actually heard, it's kind of both things. What I've heard from people and what I've heard myself is there's no let it go here. They want it to be there.
I think that's what they were hoping
They were hoping, but it just isn't. There's nothing there that stands out. It's, from what people have said, it's a good film, but just is not the first one.
It's just not. It's going to be impossible to necessarily meet that. There's that one you just got.
So I guess it's back to me, I guess.
Yeah.
So best television series drama. One that I don't know, you might have seen more of it than I have. I've only seen one of these series for the most part, and not for the series it's nominated for.
Actually, I think we're about even then, because I've seen one of them and not the one that's nominated.
So, Succession? I think it's season 2 that's been nominated.
So.
The Crown, which would be season 3. Killing Eve. I don't know what season
it's either first or second, I don't remember.
The Morning Show. And Big Little Lies.
Which is season 2.
So, I've only seen the first 2 seasons of The Crown, and it is an excellent show.
I've only seen the first season of Big Little Lies, and that's excellent.
Came into possession of Succession.
Yeah.
Which is good, because apparently that's the winner of this particular, but not the season that won. But I don't know much about any of these a lot, except for The Crown. And The Crown is a good show. Watch it.
I've heard great things about all of those shows. I have definitely heard. Just like I've heard great things about most of these. Best television series, musical or comedy, I don't believe I've heard a damn thing about The Politician. I've also heard generally good things about Fleabag, The Kaminsky Method, The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and Barry.
Oh, yeah.
And I really want to see all of these. Mainly Barry is one that's been on my list. We have season 1 at the library, and it's very short. I'm tempted. But the winner here was Fleabag, which I guess now that's more reason to check it out.
I can tell you right now, when I gear up for Oscar season to actually see as many movies as I can, TV will probably be the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
Though I really want to see Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Yeah. Now, I may have to see one of these, though.
I really do want to see
and
at
I have
least
seen
one
another.
of these.
And I have one on my list.
So, Best Television Limited Series or Motion Picture Made for Television. Chernobyl. Loudest Voice. Unbelievable. Catch-22. I know you want to see that one. And Fosse Verdon. So, the winner, of course, being Chernobyl. I mean, that should be no surprise to anybody who's been listening to anything. Chernobyl's just been knocking it out of the park. I have not seen a lot of it. I've seen a little bit of it, and it is really good. I need to see more.
Well, I have a hold in the library on Fosse Verdon, and having just seen Bombshell, I need to see The Loudest Voice, because it's about much of the same stuff. Russell Crowe playing Roger Ailes in this version. But actually, I have seen one of these, and since we're not really doing our watch this week, I'm just going to go ahead and do a mini review for Catch-22. It is a pretty good adaptation. It's not great.
Better than the movie?
It is better than the movie. They still try to go for a largely linear structure, but they do a little bit more folding back and forth. It's brilliantly cast. Pretty much all the big names in there. You don't have many. You have George Clooney plays a colonel, a general rather, Sheiskov. You got co-producer Grant Heslov plays Doc Danica. Kyle Chandler plays Colonel Cathcart. All three of them do their roles very well. Hugh Laurie has a small role as Major DeCoverly, and he has a fun role with that. The main guy who plays Yossarian is brilliant in the role. The casting overall was brilliant. The execution was good. Unfortunately, I'm still waiting for the best ever miniseries or movie based on the best novel ever written, but this was a nice step up from the movie.
So, next one.
Next up, we have Best Performance by an Actress in a Limited Series or Motion Picture made for television. We have from Fosse Verdon, Michelle Williams. From Unbelievable, Caitlin Dever. From The Act, Joey King. From Catherine the Great, Helen Mirren. And from Unbelievable, Merritt Wever. And the award went to Michelle Williams from Fosse Verdon.
Good on that.
Like I said, I'll be getting that one soon from the library. I have not seen any of those performances, though.
Also, Best Performance by an Actor in a Limited Series or Motion Picture made for television. Jared Harris, Chernobyl. Sacha Baron Cohen, The Spy. Christopher Abbott, Catch-22. Sam Rockwell, Fosse Verdon. And Russell Crowe, The Loudest Voice. Russell Crowe wins for The Loudest Voice.
Ah, Christopher Abbott's, that's the dude I was trying to think of.
Well.
Best Actress, I'm having dyslexic moments right and left tonight.
We got two more pages to cover, too.
Best Performance by an Actress in a Television Series, Drama. Reese Witherspoon, The Morning Show. Nicole Kidman, Big Little Lies. Jodie Comer, Killing Eve. Jennifer Aniston, The Morning Show. And Olivia Colman, The Crown. Again, the closest I've come to any of these is season 1 of Big Little Lies. But the winner was for the show that I still need to see, Olivia Colman for The Crown.
Oh, yeah, I've heard she really knocked it out of the park as far as taking the place of the one that was on there.
Yeah.
And, it's a good show. Crown is an awesome show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would have definitely said that. Best performance by an actor in a television series / drama.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Cox, Succession. Kit Harington, Game of Thrones. Oh yeah, that did end this year. Rami, actually, why didn't that get the? Well, actually, no, never mind. Because of the last season's kind of petering out. Rami Malek, Mr. Robot. Tobias Menzies, The Crown, and Billy Porter, Pose.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian Cox won for Succession.
All right.
Well, he did look suitable on the box art.
All right, that's a great metric right there. All right, best performance by an actress in a television series, musical, or comedy. We have Christina Applegate, Dead to Me. Natasha Lyonne, Russian Doll. Kirsten Dunst on Becoming a God in Central Florida.
That sounds fun.
Rachel Brosnahan in The Marvelous Miss Maisel. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge in Fleabag. And the winner is Phoebe Waller-Bridge for Fleabag.
That must be an interesting series.
It must be. Yeah.
Though I do want to see this just because of the name. Becoming a God in Central Florida.
Yes.
That sounds entertaining.
Yep.
Best performance by an actor in a television series, musical, or comedy. Rami Youssef for Rami. Michael Douglas for the Kominsky Method.
Yeah.
Bill Hader for Barry. Ben Platt for The Politician. And Paul Rudd for Living with Yourself. So Rami Youssef won for Rami.
Huh. Good times.
Good for them.
Yep.
All right.
Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a series, limited series, or motion picture made for television. Emily Watson, Chernobyl. Meryl Streep, Big Little Lies. Toni Collette, Unbelievable. Helena Bonham Carter, The Crown. Patricia Arquette, The Act. And it went to Patricia Arquette.
That is a crappy picture of Helena Bonham Carter. It looks like she just
Several
woke up.
Several of these pictures are a
Just
little...
a not flattering picture.
Several of these pictures are a little odd. I mean, Toni Collette looks like she went to Donald Trump's tanning salon,
Oh, my. Not flattering pictures.
No.
I wasn't really that happy with Joaquin Phoenix's picture this time around. All right, so best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a series, limited or motion picture made for television. Henry Winkler, Barry, obviously the winner, right?
Obviously.
Andrew Scott, Fleabag. Kieran Culkin for Succession. Stellan Skarsgård for Chernobyl. And Alan Arkin for The Kominsky Method. So, Stellan Skarsgård, of course, won for Chernobyl. No surprise there, really. Though
Not
I
really.
think it should have gone to Henry Winkler, just because.
Well, and again, Barry is supposed to be a really good show. And then, of course, the specialty awards. We had the Cecil B. DeMille Award to Tom Hanks, because why not? Tom Hanks.
He did get his close-up by Mr. DeMille.
Yes.
Carol Burnett Award goes to Ellen DeGeneres. So, that's all of these particular ones for the Globes this year. Anything that you felt like stood out like majorly strange this year for you?
Well, Missing Link.
Missing Link, obviously. That still goes like, what? Really?
Yeah.
But that kind of makes me wonder. I mean, I'm guessing it will get a nomination this year.
Oh, it probably will.
Animated feature. Animated feature seems to be the only one I have a shot at ever seeing all of. I wonder if Disney Plus will get Frozen 2 by the time the awards come out. Probably not.
Not likely.
I mean, it's still in the theaters, isn't it?
Yeah.
I won't see it because I really don't have any desire to see a Disney sequel film.
I want to see it, but the thing is...
I want to pay money to see
Yeah,
it.
the thing is, I'm tapped out for a couple weeks, so after that, who knows what might happen, but...
You'll see in a couple weeks, it'll almost be the Oscars.
I know. The only exception, I don't care what I have to do, I will dig up the funds to go see Weathering with You. But
I'll have to go to the theater sometime, maybe this weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got the money to go. It's just getting both me and my wife together to get out there.
So we're not quite in an hour yet. Did we have any other news items of note?
Well, When They Cry, it looks like they're going to be getting a new season.
Oh, really?
Which is interesting. I do know that much. There was another piece that I have forgotten.
Did they ever announce a licensing or release of When They Cry Outbreak?
No.
They need to.
But they're going to be doing a new series, it looks like, soon, which is going to be interesting.
Right.
Other than that, there was some release news that I thought was new. I mean, I like Common No Maid Guys getting a release.
Yes.
We've talked about that a little bit elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I might, because that was the end on at least doing 2 of my own.
Go for it.
To kind of make up for some of these, I'm going to just say heck with these Christmas ones that I've gotten, but I'm going to end my Christmas one by talking about just a couple of the highlights of what's left, and then I'm just going to... Because most of the stuff, you see every year. Mixed Nuts was one I had watched again this year, and I was really depressed by the first time I saw it. Essentially, it's a... what is his name? Steve Martin plays this guy that's on the suicide hotline. You've seen it, right?
No.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he's on the suicide hotline. It's also got what is the one the woman that's always in the like she was in Spaceballs, History of the World. Madeline Kahn. Madeline Kahn is in it. And,
she wasn't in Spaceballs.
Wasn't she? Okay, maybe she wasn't.
But she was in a lot of other Mel Brooks films.
I keep thinking of her as all of them, but no. But yeah, she was in a lot of those, and all of them play off each other. They're on this hotline, and it's the holidays, and they're a non-profit, so they're being shut down because the landlord is there. There's this killer going out and killing women with long hair. There's another couple that's doing very poorly right now because the one woman is... Killing women with long hair or killing women that have long hair? Probably a little bit of both. And there's a couple where one of them is an artist who is a felon and can't seem to make any money, and his girlfriend's pregnant, and she's like, okay, I'm going to just drop you like a rock, so he's depressed. There is a transgender male-to-female character who is feeling ostracized by her family, and is trying to find some acceptance, calling the line. And it's one that has a lot of darkness to it, but also one that tries to be comedic along the way. And I felt the comedy a lot more this time round than I did before. I was able to get some chuckles out, and it felt much less depressing this time than it was. It has a good happy ending. I mean, shoot, when they have to try and sneak a dead guy out inside of a Christmas tree, and people are all trying to help them out with the tree, and they're like, no, get away. And there are these skaters that kept getting the trees wrecked, and they end up trying to wreck this tree, which has a body in it. It's so there are some parts that are legitimately funny. Madeline Kahn gets stuck in an elevator. So, if you haven't watched it and you're looking for a good holiday film, still, you want to try and play catch up, that is one that I think is worth your while.
We may still have a couple coming.
Other than that, I mean, I still feel like Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol is overlooked a lot of the time. I think it's a nice little classic for the holidays. And one more I'll throw out there, just because it is a one of the few anime I watch at this time of year, which is Itsudate My Santa. It's a terrible show. It's fun. It's entertaining for what it is, and it gives me a little bit of a laugh. But I'm going to just stop with my Christmas stuff there. Do you have one more that you want to throw out?
Well, I've still got some Christmas stuff to hit, but actually, on one last one, if I'm doing one last, I'm going to go ahead and say there was actually another Oscar contender that I watched in the last couple weeks that I'd forgotten to mention, and that was Toy Story 4. Which actually, I think it's a really good movie. It's a really good, solid
So you
addition.
could have gotten that steelbook yet.
No, I couldn't have gotten it. I was very annoyed. Got it from the library, actually. But it was a very entertaining. I like where they went. I like the new characters. There's two plushies played by Key and Peele, and there's a stunt motorbike guy who played by Keanu Reeves. He's actually pretty hilarious.
Oh, did you like Forky?
Forky was
He's got his own show on Disney Plus.
trash. I don't know. Porky is played by Tony Hale, and I'll always think of Tony Hale as Buster from Arrested Development.
Whenever I hear him do voice acting, I think Billy Crystal.
Yeah, a little bit. I think Forky was okay, and he took a while. He grated on me at first. He took a while before
So it's a new twist on the same story.
Yeah.
Do you think that this story deserves the best award for this time around?
Well, I haven't seen Weathering with You yet, but I don't think it was.
Out of what you have seen.
Out of what I have seen, as animated films go, it's slightly higher than How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World. Probably higher than I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. But it's not like an out-of-the-park, best ever kind of movie either.
So not Toy Story 3.
Well, Toy Story 3 for me was not out-of-the-park best film ever. Actually, I would rate Toy Story 4 very close to Toy Story 3. Which for me, as Pixar films go, I would say that would put them a little bit below Brave and definitely well above Cars.
That's not hard.
Well, I liked Cars.
Cars 2 and Cars 3.
Exactly. Definitely higher than Toy Story 1 and 2, I think. I actually like them better as they go along. But
now, the newest one that they released, that has been out, right? What was it, the one about the elves or the trolls or whatnot that they had?
Onward?
Yeah, isn't
No,
that
that comes out in March, I believe.
That's
going to be their big one. Actually, I think they have 2 coming out this year. And they're both supposed to be original.
That one just doesn't appeal to me. I don't know. I look at it and I'm going, this looks like a Blue Sky feature. It doesn't look like... you see like these things, and to me, some of them just... This doesn't look like Pixar to me.
Well, Pixar loves to swing...
Like The Good Dinosaur. The Good Dinosaur did not look
that
like
was
Pixar.
disappointing. But their films, I'll always give them a go.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get that way with Laika. I need to be more that way with Laika. But,
Laika, I know that the film will at least be quality.
Well, same with Pixar.
Yeah, it's
Even
even
weaker
Good
ones.
Dinosaur was quality.
Yeah, same thing with The Bug's Life. It was quality. It wasn't brilliant, but it was quality.
So, and who knows? Maybe Missing Link is brilliant, and
maybe.
we have not seen it. I mean, obviously the Globes think they are.
Obviously.
So, well, with that being said,
Yeah.
I hope you all have enjoyed this vlogcast as we go over. And I'm sure, when is the Oscar nominations?
I think they're supposed to be announced next Monday, maybe?
So, if they are Monday, then you can look forward to us covering Oscar season because they're rushing it this year.
Yeah.
And delaying our normal release. But this week, we actually have a release for you every day of the week.
Good times.
I mean, yeah, we had the Criterion thing Monday. Tuesday, we had our new releases. Wednesday, we had our pickups. Thursday, I had the Anhedenia Project. And then Friday, we have this. Every day this week.
Wait, Criterion thing.
Yeah, a Criterion stroll.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry.
So, any case, it's a lot to look forward to, a lot to watch.
Yep.
So, I hope you've enjoyed our discussion. And look forward next week. If they do announce them on Monday, You'll get to hear us talking about our thoughts on the nominations and how many I have not seen, which will probably be all of them except for the animated features this year. But maybe I will get to the point where I'll have seen more than 2.
Who knows? Who knows?
And you'll have seen all of them by then.
Yeah, no, not likely.
So we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Goodbye.